Hello, everyone. I'm KeTohn, the founder of BossBabeBlog.com, and welcome to the Boss Babe Blog podcast. Today, we are having a really great conversation about how to have a better friendship experience, and I have some wonderful guests joining us. We have Conitra Cowans joining us from BoujeezSteps. We have Lacole Smith joining us from AL Publishing and Consulting. Miriam Jackson joining us from the Queen's Digital Studio, Travel with MJ, MJ's Wellness, as well as, what am I missing? MJ's Teas and Custom Designs. We got 4 businesses in here. So yeah. So welcome, ladies. So happy to have you. How are you all doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's Friday.
And it's just like it's the end of the week.
Listen, I piggyback that it's Friday. I'm doing well, dear. How are you?
I'm doing good. I am excited. I got my snacks. Well, apparently it's dinner. Apparently
It's
it's not a
dinner.
snack.
It's
That's what
dinner.
MJ said. But I
It
have
is.
my
Yeah.
my
It's dinner.
lemonade. Y'all want to show off y'all snacks? What y'all sipping on? I got my red beans and rice. I have
And
my
she talking about my
blueberry
snack, but I
cake.
got a whole bowl.
Yes. This is a snack. I was about to start eating it, but I'm gonna wait till I finish this intro and y'all get into talking, and then I'm gonna eat so I can mute myself so
Right.
y'all don't have to hear me in the background while you're talking.
So look,
But
at the moment, I'm just sipping on some ginger ale. I'm
okay,
not sick. That's all I have in the house.
got it, noted. What about y'all? Did y'all bring any snacks?
Same. I have
No
ginger
snacks,
ale,
but I got the
and
right. Mm.
some olives.
Don't hurry up and take it off the screen. What you drinking over there, Lacole?
It ain't peach Sprite.
Oh, okay, all right, because it's a fancy glass there. She just said, I got something to drink, and then gonna hurry up and take it off. I was like, let me see.
Look, I got my
Okay.
wine glass over here too, so
Oh, okay,
just in case
yeah.
I feel a little bougie.
Don't be shy. Don't be shy, y'all. Okay, so let's get into it. Today we are talking about friendship, and the reason why is because this year I was motivated to focus on conversations that revolve around how we can have better experiences in life. We might have a business, you might work a 9 to 5, you might, be a stay-at-home mom or dad, but at the end of the day, I just want to talk about how we can have a better and more enriching life experience. And so I want to start off with friendship. It's really important, I think, that we get advice from people who have different experiences, and that's what this conversation is about today. So, everybody here is going to be going through and sharing their tips on how you can have a more enriching friendship experience. I want to go ahead and start with one of mine, and then I will move it on, hand it on over to Lacole, and then Lacole, you can hand it over to MJ or Conitra. So, the first tip that I have to have a more enriching friendship experience is focus on celebrating the differences that you have with you and your friend, the things that you guys are different in. Celebrate those differences instead of comparing them. Because when you celebrate, it creates a different tone where you are accepting and loving on them, regardless of how they may function or do things. It's not to say that you have to enable behavior that maybe you don't support, but focus on celebrating the things that you do enjoy and appreciate about them. Every time you want to make a comparison, make a celebration, because I have seen friendships that, go to waste because of our inability to stop comparing ourselves to our friend. And then when you start doing it internally, like quietly, it becomes louder and louder. And eventually you start saying things that show that you're comparing yourself to your friend. And I've experienced that. I've had friends who, at one point in time, I thought we had a really great friendship, but they would say things and I would be like, why would you even be thinking about, why would you even be thinking about that? Why would you even be asking me that question? At one point in time, I had a friendship where a person was like, race to see who gets married first, race to see who gets a house first. And not to say that I'm upset about it now because that was a long time ago and, we're not really friends. But I think in the moment, it was just kind of like, this feels kind of weird. Race to see who gets married, race to see who gets a house. Like it just feels weird. I never cared about what the next person is doing. We all have our own lives, goals, visions, beliefs, religions. I don't see the purpose in me comparing my walk to yours because we're not going to the same place completely. So that doesn't really make sense. Even if we are going to the same building, we're not going to be in the same room all the time. So for that reason, I can't take the advice that you feel I should take or compare myself to you because you're not laying down with me and waking up with me. I'm living my own life. We were born separately. We were not born together. And even we were, and we still not doing that. So that was something for me that was a kind of like a pushback, and it made me not really want to talk about certain things with my friend because at the time, because it's kind of like, why would you even be thinking about that? And then I've had times where I've shared things with people and they'll make these passive aggressive statements. Like one time I was talking to someone and they said, maybe I'm just direct, or maybe I'm just this. And we might feel like there's not a big deal in that, but anytime that you feel the need to announce that you're something different from somebody else, in my opinion and experience, there's a level of insecurity. Because if you felt that way and you thought that you were that, you would have just said it. And you also making passive aggressive statements is not direct. Maybe I'm just this, maybe I'm just that. That's kind of weird. So don't do that, because you miss out on friendships where people start to look at you like, am I even safe to have conversations with you? Because if I feel like every time I talk to you about something, it's going to be a comparison war, I'm not going to talk to you about it. Or if I'm telling you that I'm going through something and you feel the need to say, oh, you went through this, that's nothing. Like I say, I broke my arm and you say, that's nothing, I broke my leg. Don't be that person. Don't be that person. Let's learn to just let people be themselves and not attach ourselves to everything that they say. Cause it's just like, did you want a cookie for breaking your leg? Are we having a competition of pain? What's this sick stuff that we got going on where we feel the need to be like, oh, you lost somebody? I lost three. What? I just don't I don't understand. You know what I mean? So we might not pay attention to those things, but think about how a person perceives that. Like, you care about stuff in your life. How would you feel if you're telling somebody you care about something and you're going through something and they take that opportunity to turn around and compare why what you're going through is not important and what they went through is more important? It's one thing to give advice or insight, or to say, hey, I'm just glad you're still alive. Or I'm so sorry that this happened to you. I love you, but I'm glad you're here. You're alive, and we're going to get through it together. That's a different tone than, yeah, you broke one leg. Well, guess what? I broke two. That is just weird. So let's avoid comparisons. And every time you want to start to compare yourself to someone, reverse it into a celebration. Instead of, well, I must be direct, say, I really appreciate how much you care about people, or I really appreciate how you try to evaluate things before you make certain decisions or just say things based off of emotion. It takes a lot of maturity to do that. It's okay to give people direct compliments instead of indirect insults and passive aggressive comparisons, simply because you haven't reached that emotional intelligence, or just because you don't see the value in how they do things. It's okay to just give them a compliment. We don't always have to try to down somebody just because we don't understand it. Because I've been in rooms like that, and it's definitely something that'll make me, at least in a friendship, say, great conversation, we'll never have it again. And the next time that I have something I want to talk about, I'm not coming to you, because everything's not always about you. When a person's talking to you, they're talking to you about themselves. Please don't start talking to me about what you are, and maybe you're this, and I don't care. I can come to you and ask you, what are you? Are you direct? I didn't say that. I told you what I was going through. I told you what I experienced. This is a conversation about me. So we got to practice letting go of comparison. And then I'll step into one more tip, and then I'm going to hand it over to Lacole. But also practice um, placing yourself in someone else's situation. So even though you might not be able to relate directly to what they're talking about, ask yourself how you would feel if in the moment you had those same emotions, you were experiencing what they were experiencing, at least the anxiety, the stress, whatever, and that person came to you and was like, oh, you said you what? You broke up? I had 3 breakups. I'm fine. How would you feel? Where's the friendship in that? Where's the kindness in that? Where's the understanding in that? Versus just trying to make a comparison or stand on a pedestal and have your ego stroked. It's not about you. So that's my tips. Lacole, what do you have? I'm about to eat my red beans and rice while I
I
listen.
think I think the big thing for me is trust. And if a friendship has trust, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, they're gonna trust the fact that they know you completely. And to know somebody is to trust them. And to trust what is known or said. Even if I'm not in your presence, I can still know if it sounds like you or if it doesn't. Because some people, they'll be like, oh, well, yeah, I believe she did it. But then they got some people that's going to be like, nah, that's not even her character. That's not even how she rolls. So if you have that kind of friendship and that level of trust in a friendship where somebody knows you, whether they're in the room with you or not in the room with you, that's a friendship. And I don't have many of those because of the fact that if you cannot vouch for me outside of my presence, then you can't vouch for me in front of me. So either way, it's gonna be some kind of something because either you're gonna know me or you don't know me. It's no in between with me. Um, and some people think they
Amen.
know.
Amen.
It's okay for
Amen.
you to think that you know. It's okay for you to think that you know. But if you don't know, then don't come at me like that. Because I'm telling you, if you cannot vouch for me outside of my sight, then we don't have a friendship. We just acquaintances. We just hanging. We cool. You are from around the way. So we gotta learn to make sure that if you're calling somebody your friend, how much do they have your back? How much do they have your back? And not just when they're talking to you and they're in the room with you, but how much do they have your back when you're not seen and they stand up for you? No matter what's going on, no matter what is said, no matter what is done, they know for a fact your character. Now that's a friend. And that's a bond that cannot be broken. That's what we need to be looking for in friendships, in relationships, and in business because you got to have the trust. It has to be there. It's no in between. It's just not. So I'm gonna hand it on over to MJ.
Mm. Um. Ooh, let me come out of the glasses right quick. Let me come out of the glasses right quick. One of the tips that I'm going to I gotta take one of these out. Hold on. Okay. Can y'all still hear me? Okay. One of the tips that I'm going to come with this evening is um and it's kind of piggybacking off of what was said about comparing. Um you can't give one friend every part of your life. There's certain pieces of your now if you have a real friend here, now we're not talking about hey friend, we're not talking about the people you just surfacely call friends. That word has been played out. Hey friend, knowing good and well y'all don't even like each other. We're not talking about those type of people. We talking about the people you actually call a friend, like for real call a friend. Not every friend is meant for every conversation. I can speak to my business friends about business because guess what? They own businesses. Okay. I can speak to my teacher bestie about school. Why? Because she understands the aspect of being in a classroom, teaching, standing up, XYZ. Two different people, two different types of conversations. Okay. I wouldn't go to somebody who has no lick of sense of what goes on in the classroom. And we're not talking about parents. We're talking about people who may not have any children, who may live up under a rock, who may, just don't know anything. And here I am coming to you about, oh, I'm so tired. I've dealt with 87 kids today, and you can't relate. Now, my parents, if I'm talking to a parent, they would understand. Some of them, not all of them, but some of them. But on the flip side, I'm not for every conversation either. Now, yes, some of my friends are mothers. I, not a mother. Okay. So, what I might say is only based on my experience as being a teacher, not as a parent. Also, some of my friends married. Don't come to me for your married people. Don't come to me for your married people problems. There's nothing that I can tell you about your married people problems. I'm single. Now I might say, yeah, girl, I leave them. They don't deserve me. But at the end of the day, don't take my advice. I'm single. Okay. Now I can speak to the person, like, hey, if I'm having a conversation with person A in this, I can speak to that person and say, hey, you might be tripping just based on what I know about you. But never would I want you to take um never would I want you to take anything that I'm saying back to your marriage or back to your bedroom or back to your pillow, because people be pillow talking, because I don't have that experience. I think people need to learn that when they don't have that experience, they're not asking you for their opinion. They just want to get it off their chest. Okay. Now, if a married person, and I keep using a married person because that's one thing that I know I have no experience in. If a married person come to me and say, "Hey, we're having issues with our marriage, X, Y, Z, A, B, C," I'm going to sit and listen, because as your friend, that's what I'm supposed to do. But I can't give you any advice as a single person. I can't tell you to go divorce the person. I don't know the inner workings of your marriage. I only know what you tell me. So why would I even throw it out there? Now, if you throw it out there, I support you in whatever decision that you make, but I can't make that decision for you. I can't. I can't relate. And it's okay that if you can't relate, just listen. You don't have to put your input in on everything. Not everything is about you.
Man, okay. It's two things that popped up in my brain when you talked about this. Heavy on the not asking for your opinion part. Sometimes we care about our friends, we care about the people that are around us, and we have this urge, it can be maternal, paternal, whatever you want to call it, but there's this urge to want to protect them. So you start to give them advice on stuff that they're not asking you for advice on. And at the end of the day, we are all our own individuals. And the same way a person might give you advice, but you might not take it, is the same way you have to give and grant other people that same right. Because if I'm telling you about something that I'm going through, does not mean that I want to hear you give me a whole lecture and talk about what you would have did and all that other stuff. It could very much mean that I just want to vent and get something off my chest, the same way you have been able many times to vent and get something off your chest. And I think that sometimes we forget that. There's another thing that you said that really sticks with me. And I have a different experience on this, but when you talked about people taking advice, I think it's like I feel like there's a little bit of both. Like, there are people who you only ask for certain types of advice from, but it's not always because they don't necessarily do or have, they're not in the same circle as you, but simply because they don't have experience, like you said, but in a sense that's going to be contributing to what you need help with. For example, you can be a mother and you can have a friend that's not a mother, and she can come to you, you can come to them and ask questions or talk about what you're going through. And you might feel like, well, you're not a mom, so you really don't know what I'm talking about. But what we forget is that just because a person is not in the same exact shoes does not mean they have not sat and watched and seen what other people have done in those shoes and the mistakes that have contributed to the things that they went through in their life. For example, like I said, I'm not a mom, but I've watched a lot of children. I've taken care of a lot of kids. I can't even count all of them on this live on one hand. I can't tell you how many children we had up and out of that house. It's like, I don't even know if it was my house. It was everybody's house. So at the end of the day, I've watched a lot of children and I've seen a lot of different types of parents. I've supervised kids. I've watched them by themselves. I've watched them with their parents. I've seen them in their homes. I've seen them in my home. I have a lot of experience when it comes to the relationships between the child and the parent, the child and the family, the child and the elders. And I have some friends who may not have that same level of experience, but still be parents. I had someone even have the nerve to ask me, because I gave advice about something with their child. Well, what experience do you have? You're not a parent. Yeah, I'm not a parent, but every child I've ever watched, they've been safe.
And that is a completely different experience. You have experience with dealing with your siblings, cousins, children in general. Most of the people who's trying to give unsolicited advice
don't know what they're talking
are
about.
people who have only child syndrome, who just want to hear themselves talk.
Yeah.
And cannot truly relate to being a parent, a babysitter, or something of
They
that
don't know
sort.
what they're talking about. They just
They
going because
ain't
they
got
want to
no
talk.
type of experience with
Yeah.
none of
I
this.
think
And yet you still running your mouth. Zip it.
I think two things can coexist. Like, zip it, can coexist, and I agree with you because yes, there are those people that just want to run and go and go. They don't have anything to say. They just talking. They like,
Mm-hmm.
well, if I was a mom, I'd do this. Girl, you ain't even watched your niece and nephew, but you telling me what you would do with your kids. You told me that you don't even like them. You told me you put them in the car and send them back home after 30 minutes, but you telling me what I need to do with mine. So I understand and can relate to someone feeling that way. And I actually
Mm-hmm.
had that feeling once because for me, I've always watched and taken care of and supported my mother with my brother and my sister. And one day somebody had the audacity to come to me talking about some, if you try to do this, they'll be better about that. So you do not have any experience in children. And when I say any, I mean any. What are you doing here? So in that moment, I understood how a parent might feel when a random person off the streets is coming to tell them about how they need to do something and you have no experience, you know what you're talking about. But I
Mm-hmm.
also feel like another great way to hold on to these really good relationships in your life is to understand that everybody may not have the same walk of life as you, but they might still have experience and knowledge and wisdom that could help you. So even though that friend might not be in a marriage, when you come to her and you say something like, my partner is always arguing with me whenever I'm trying to do something positive for myself. And they're seeing that in person, real time, and they're looking at how broken down you seem and how tired you are, and they see that you're being broken down. I don't have to be in that marriage to tell you that you might want to get up out of there. Get up out of there or go get some therapy. And guess what? Therapy takes time and it's not 100% that other person is truly committed. You cannot rely on other people for your own happiness, cannot rely on other people for security. You got to know you're going to be good. So if you don't know, you need to get up out of there. They can go get their therapy on their own by themselves. But I
Right.
don't need to be in a relationship to tell you that you deserve to be with somebody that cares about you. Now, there's another layer to this, MJ. We got to avoid being the friends that give selfish advice. Because sometimes, like you said, the person might be like, you need to leave that man. After all he did was drop your pencil on the floor, just because they went through something negative in life. So they're going to give you a completely different response. Or not even trying to sabotage you. They just feel like, I don't think he's good for you. You should leave him. But you're not actually being realistic with what that person is telling you. Are they
Mm-hmm.
wanting to leave? Are they willing to leave? Are they being harmed physically or emotionally or psychologically to the point where they need to leave? If those answers are not aligning with the advice that you're giving, you might have a problem. Now, if they are being harmed, that's a different story. And there's still a way you have to do that. You can't come in and try to be superwoman and rush and save the day because you could get someone really hurt and they could possibly lose their life depending on how you do that if it's a domestic situation. But
Yeah.
in situations where like you're just thinking that they should leave them, but you know goodness well that woman does not want to leave that man, go ahead and just accept that and let people be human and make their own decisions and be there as their friend to love on them. And when they make the decision that you feel maybe was right for them, support them. And if they don't, still be there to support them. You can have your own opinion, but you don't have to tear anybody down in the process, and you don't have to be passive aggressive, and you don't have to give that, like you said, that just talking advice. Let's really
Right.
think about what we're saying to a person. Because if you tell your friend, break up with that man after the man dropped her pencil on the floor, and she goes and breaks up with him, and you knew that she wanted to be with this person, and you knew that dropping a pencil on the floor is not a reason to break up with somebody, that's a little, I feel like that's a little selfish, you know?
Yes, yes. And very quickly to piggyback off of what you just said, when you said that a person was is broken in the situation, in the marriage or in the relationship, that's you knowing your friend enough to say, hey, I've seen you when you were not with this person and how you looked. I've seen you with this person and how you looked. That is a different type of conversation. Now we talk about those who just want to throw, and again, this is me talking about those who just want to throw their opinion out there because they
Mhm.
like to hear themselves talk.
Yeah, we got a lot of those out there.
Those type of friends, no. Now, don't, like I said, don't get me wrong. I'll tell my girl, leave them, but I don't know the inner workings of your marriage,
Hmm.
and I wouldn't tell somebody to do that because I'm not in their house.
Yeah.
I'm not in their marriage. I'm not in their house. I'm not in any of that type of stuff. Now, if I look at my friend and I see that my friend is, like the obvious signs of something's not right with her. She's losing weight. She's in the hospital so much. She's, not eating as much as she should, maybe because her her partner is, feeding negative talk to her. Like, yeah, you might need to figure out what's going on there and make a move for yourself. I can't tell you to leave that person.
Yeah.
But again, that goes back to them people who just want to hear themselves talk. Sometimes, and this is the overall message here, and I'm gonna get off here. Sometimes they're just coming to you to get it off their chest.
Mm-hmm.
They ain't coming to you to get a solution. The solution was, I need to vent. Yes, my
Exactly.
face is all up in the camera. It ain't about you. I just need your 2 ears to listen. That's it. That's all I need for you. And sometimes we need to preface the conversation of, hey, I'm not looking for a solution. I just need to vent.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. I just got done talking to you about this. Do not come to me talking about the stuff that you're going through or how you feeling about something or asking questions. And then when I start answering the questions and we get into the conversation, you talking about, I just want to, I don't want to hear what you have to say. It's my turn. It's about me. What the heck? I can't read your mind. So that I try my hardest to ask people, but people cannot read your mind. So if you are feeling like you want to get something off your chest, go ahead and let them know, I just want to vent. I just really need to get this off my chest. And then that gives them permission to say, okay, I'm just going to listen and support you. Now, oh goodness, did I even start the Instagram? Let me make sure the Instagram folks get on this. Um, I'm sorry, y'all, Instagram fam. But
Oh,
yes,
goodness.
so but no, so that gives them an opportunity to say, okay, I'm listening now. And then another thing we can try to practice is when you're talking to someone, assessing what they are needing. I've done this before, even though it was not done back to me. I've done this many times where I said, are you wanting my support right now as far as you want me to listen, or do you want me to give you advice, or are you needing something specific from me? Like, what are you needing from me? And they really appreciated that, the people that I did it with. But I've had times where I've done it with people and they did not do the same back with me. They, when I'm talking about something, you just start talking about what you would have did and how you're different and your world this and all that other stuff, and I'm just like, okay. So this is a part of the reason why friendships sometimes have that breakdown. Charlie said, don't be a walkie-talkie. Good point. Okay, so thank you for that, MJ. That was a really great take. Conitra, what's your take on this? What do you feel like people can do to have better friendships?
I kind of want to piggyback off of everyone because I the what Lacole was saying about the trust, that is a big part of the friendship. I have a best friend that we've been friends over 20 years. We watch our kids grow up together, and the trust is there. And we had incidents where something came up where I knew for a fact, because I know her, that had nothing to do with her, nothing, that wasn't even her character. I was like, no, I could say right off the top, no, that is not that. And even with me, she had my back when I wasn't even around, um, just to tell somebody off and just like, hey, no, that's not her. And if you don't know what you're talking about, don't speak on it. So I truly value trust in the friendship with her, because we have been plus 20 years and still going. And I love that trust that we have. And I just think that, I've had friends over the years, friends, foes over the years, friends come in for a season here and then they're gone. So, I've learned a lot in my 47 years of saying, hey, this is the person I'm going to vent to, and then they turn around and yab it to someone else. So I feel like trust is a very, very big part of that. And I try to teach that to my girls too. Don't be too quick to call somebody your friend and go back and forth. Because if you got to go back and forth with someone all the time, then what are we doing? We're not friends, you know. So I want to piggyback off of that trust and just being honest and being able to take criticism. If they're your true friend and they're actually telling you something like, hey, and they know you from years and years, take that criticism and be like, okay, yeah, I thank you for that. And, with me and my best friend, there's no judgment zone. So, she tells me things, I'm not here to judge. She's not here to judge. We're just here to hold each other up. So yes, I really do value that trust.
I really resonate with what you're saying, Conitra, especially when it comes to like the don't be so quick to call someone your friend. And I would even say don't be so quick to assume that someone can't be a friend. Just allow people to take the time, even if you feel like they might not be. Take the time because time will show you things that you would have never projected about people. There's relationships that I have now that I would have never known that we would develop that closeness. But because I did not completely cut it out and just, shut it down or be mean or just leave the situation, I just let it be what it was. And when you let things be, sometimes they blossom into really beautiful things. But when you automatically put somebody in a box of what they can or can't do and you haven't given them the time to show, you miss out on really great relationships and you miss out on seeing where people are not the best of friends for you. So, you automatically label them as this is my friend. And then in a moment when you really need a friend and you really would want to rely on somebody that is reliable, this is somebody that you have to fall back on, someone who's not really your friend. So don't be too quick to call people your friends and don't be too quick to assume that they're not simply because of, maybe one instance or not necessarily one instance, because sometimes a person can do something deep enough to make you say, yeah, we're definitely not going to be able to be friends. But there's many cases where I wasn't sure of how a person would fit in my life and I just let them be who they are, how they are. And we ended up having a great friendship. So don't allow your self-talk to get in the way of the reality that's being placed in front of you. Um, so I think that's a really important thing too, because people show you through their actions. So you might feel like this person is my friend, but if their actions aren't aligning with that, then you can't keep telling yourself that they are just because you're emotionally connected to them. And vice versa. Maybe you feel like this person's not my friend or I don't like that person. But if their actions are not showing you that this isn't someone who dislikes you or their actions are showing this is actually someone that supports you, then might have to just go ahead and realize that, hey, I may not like this or that, but this person is very supportive. This person is very uplifting. This person is reliable. This person shows up. This person is always talking about me or to me when it comes to my goals or my dreams or whatever the case may be. And those kind of things, they matter. Over years, the more comfortable you become with letting people just show you who they are and taking the time before you make actions, you can develop better friendships and relationships. So I definitely agree with you on that. And then back to what Lacole said, I'm very big on that. I'm very big on if you are wanting to stand next to me, follow me, be around me, be in my presence, have access to me, you need to be able to do that in public and in private. I'm not saying that you have to say things the way I would say them. I'm not saying you have to show love the way that I would show love. But at the end of the day, if you are unable to associate with me in public, but you're wanting that level of access and support in private, we're not going to be able to be friends. And we also, it's another layer to it where it's like you also have to know who your friends are because you have some friends that are very outspoken who will say what they need to say or how they feel in the moment. And then you have other friends who are not non-confrontational. So the question that you have to ask yourself is, where's the line that you draw for how people show up for you or represent you in public? Because one friend might be the friend to say, oh no, you're a liar. She don't do this, you know? And then another friend might be the friend to say, well, why do you think that is? Why, what, can you give me an example? And then another friend might be the friend that's just like receiving the information, says nothing, and leaves the situation and comes back to you. So your question that you have to ask yourself is, where do you draw the line? Because everybody is different and we don't necessarily want to make people feel like they have to do what we would do in every situation. That's something that I've been learning. But in the same breath too, if you're wanting the benefits of being around me and stuff, it's kind of weird if the only time you're wanting to be around me and be a friend is when we're private. And then in public, you're unable to be around me or be proud of me. At the end of the day, I'm proud of the people that I'm around or the people that I'm talking about, people that I'm sharing. I'm sharing information, whether they're a business owner, whether they're someone that's just a friend that I, met through life. But I don't feel the need to be one way in private and then in public. Oh, yeah, I don't know anything about her. No, I know who I know. And I promote who I promote and I talk about who I talk about. So you're gonna hear me talk about them in every room. And if you're talking about them and it doesn't make sense for me, I'm not going to go along with it just because that's what you're feeling in the moment. I'm going to either address it or I'm going to keep it moving. That's just it. So I'm not. And I mean, everybody should have their opinion. Your opinions are valid. That's important. But one thing I do know is I go off experience. So if I've experienced and viewed someone and seen that this is how they are, I'm not saying that a person is perfect, but if I know that this is something that is reasonable that we could fix or work on or alleviate, I'm going to give that person credit, and they deserve that credit. If I've seen them do it year after year, or if I've seen them do it with me, I might sit here and play pretend with you. If you tell me, Conitra yelled at you and she told you to get off her phone when you called for your shoe order, I'm sorry. I just can't pretend like I think that that even sounds like her, because Conitra has great customer service. She takes care of her customers. When you purchase from her, you receive quality, and she gives you what she says she's going to give you. So I wouldn't be able to just sit there and be like, that's how she do people, huh? No, I gotta tell you my real experience with her. I have to. I either have to do that or I have to get up out of here. One and two, but we're just not gonna sit and play pretend. And that's just me. But what I'm learning is everybody is different, and everyone's level of comfortability with how they express their loyalty or their friendship is different. And it's like a fine line. You gotta learn how to balance that so you're not trying to force anyone to act a certain way. But in the same breath, you need to pay attention to when people are intentionally avoiding supporting you or avoiding being loud about you, but intentionally in private, they want to talk to you. You know, people I had that you want to chat in the DMs, or you want to do this privately, but you don't want to say congratulations or show up to an event, or I don't have time for that. I don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. If you're my friend, be proud of me and say it with your chest, because that's what I do. I just can't do anything else. But yeah, so that's how I feel about that. Let's see. So we said stop comparisons. We said avoid making it about you. MJ said that, and I said that as well. Like, just in conversation with your friends, everything is not about you. We also said understand that sometimes they're not asking for opinions. Be there to listen to your friends and support them. Conitra talked about the importance of the back and forth. Let's stop the friendship rigmarole. Go inside or outside and sit down. All right, next. Be considerate. Okay, here's one. I said, when you're having friends and you care about people, watch your tone respectfully. Sometimes we have really great friends and they love you and they care about you and they want to see you do well and they're happy, and people mistake that happiness for or that kindness for not having intelligence. Like they won't know when you're playing games with them or when you're being disrespectful. Make sure you embrace your friends. You learn the best way to communicate to your friends. Practice treating them and speaking to them the way you would want someone to speak to you, or the way that they like to be spoken to. Because I have had friendships where I had to immediately course correct, because I don't know what train they thought we were going on. Midnight train to hell no. I'm not sure. But we had to redirect and get them onto the correct train, because I was like, why are you talking? Who do you think you're talking to? We got to learn our boundaries with people. We have to learn how to speak to people. And I think sometimes when you become friends with a person, especially if they're bubbly and happy, you forget. Sometimes you forget that. If you're one of those people. Most people don't forget that because we just have mutual respect for each other. But sometimes people forget that. You want to have better friendships, pay attention to how you speak to people, because it does affect your friendship. I had a time where someone was upset. She was upset about something that had nothing to do with me. But as we were talking, we were at an event and I was asking her questions. She just had like this energy like, no, I don't know. That'll be the last time. That shoulder shrug and rolling your neck. I don't know. Don't worry. You don't have to know. I won't be asking you anymore. We're done here. So from that point on, I just let it go and move on. Like, don't be trying to make people your emotional punching bags. That's another reason why people don't have good friendships. We got to learn how to talk to people and how to treat them. And your soft and kind friends, don't mistake their softness for weakness. That is them being kind and being loving on you because they know how harsh the world can be, because people were harsh to them, or because they quite literally have the ability to be that. And they choose to be soft and loving. And people sometimes take that for granted. Let's love on those friends that are always kind and always smiling and always laughing and always happy, because those tend to be people that have experienced the most. So yeah, we just got to practice how we speak to people. Sometimes people don't know how to talk to folks. I don't know. Have y'all experienced that? You ever had a friend or somebody and you was like, whoa, you ever had that happen? And what did you do in the moment?
This. Because who are you talking to? This, ma'am, sir. Because I have male friends too. That's gonna be my next point. We're gonna come back to that one. We're gonna put a pin in that one. Because anybody who knows me, whether you have been with me in person or you have met me over the internet, y'all know my face don't lie. I don't have a poker face.
We do know this.
I don't play poker for that reason. Okay. If I had a great hand, I would say that I had a great hand by my face. Now, what we're not going to do is play in my face, because it's giving you're playing in my face, and I'm gonna turn around. I'm gonna give it right back to you.
Yeah.
So let's not play those type of games. When you said it, when you're in private, you want to be, oh, you're my best friend. I'm gonna go support you. I'm gonna go do this and I'm gonna go do that, but you ain't did nothing in public.
Or you try to be funny in public, intentionally trying to put someone down, or
because you can be funny and I'm gonna mess around and be hilarious. Okay.
I thought of another one as you said that, MJ.
You can be funny. I'm gonna be hilarious. Right here, where you acting stupid at too. I'm old school. You know what they say, when you act up at is where you got beat at. Where you decide to be fake at is where I'm going to expose you at. Old school.
As she sips. So I thought of another one. This is just my experience. And I've only experienced this with women friends. I haven't had any male friends that I've experienced this with, but also, full transparency, I don't have any male friends that I know of right now that are in a relationship. Not any close male friends. But when it comes to your friendships and balancing out your relationships, don't place your friends in uncomfortable situations or make them feel like they have to choose. Have your own personality and individuality. I had a friend that a long time ago, and I really tried to continue, engaging and having fun and stuff, but it just felt like everything was like you trying to force, what was going on with the relationship onto our friendship. And quite literally, I didn't want to be a part of it. And that's okay. But if I invite you to come out somewhere, if it's a couples thing, that's cool. But if it's not a couples thing, please don't show up to a ladies' night with your partner. Everybody's different. If you're going to show up with him, please send him to the car and he can sit outside and scout from there and be our security, because I'm all for a good protective man, being a Superman. But to think that you can't, people have to choose the relationship or they're not your friend, that is such a weird thing. I don't know. That's something that will ruin relationships, when I feel like you don't have your own individuality. Not that when I say individuality, I'm not saying you have to be single and by any means, because when you become married to somebody, you do become one in a sense. So I am going to consider your partner when I'm considering you. I'm not going to put you in situations that are going to make your partner feel uncomfortable intentionally. You are a grown person, but I'm not going to go out of my way knowing you're married, that we go to a party, I know you're married, and then I bring out entertainer or whatever. I'm not going to put you in those kind of situations because I'm your friend and I do care about you. But what I won't do is make myself feel uncomfortable simply because there's no individuality between you and your partner. If I say I want to have a ladies' night and we want to, shake a little rump, move around, I can't do none of that because you came up here with Billy Bob. Please just come alone or stay home and we'll send you a postcard. But but please, let's not do that, because it is just it's so hard for the friend that really cares about you and wants to spend time with you and stuff. I'm not going to put that on myself. I want to spend time with you. I'll do double dates, yes. Or sometimes just invite your family, yes. But every event is not going to entail your partner, because it's not always going to be a group double date thing. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if that relates for anybody, but just have your own individuality. And if you don't have it, start finding it if you want it. That's my own perspective. Because I think that sometimes we alienate ourselves when we don't invest in having a one-on-one relationship with other people outside of our relationships, our romantic relationships. The same way you have a one-on-one relationship with your partner, have a one-on-one relationship with a friend that is really one-on-one. As in, like, I don't have to worry about what I'm saying going back into your partner's ears, or you sharing things that I did not give you permission to share, or things like that. Like, let's focus on having that kind of a relationship. That's just my perspective on that. But who else? Anybody else have any other tips or insight that you feel like?
I got one. This one's gonna be a little controversial, but it's okay.
Okay,
Um,
we here
ladies,
for it.
it's okay for you to have a male friend. A male friend exists, and we're not talking about the male friends who want to sleep with you.
Hmm?
We're talking about a strictly platonic male friend. Okay, it's okay to have one. I have a great male coworker that is a friend of mine. He keeps me from telling folks about themselves all the time. He does. He does a great job at keeping me from telling folks where to go, how to get there, and where to send a postcard to all the time. But in no way have we thought about doing anything like that. It's okay to have a male friend. You don't have to always have just all female friends. It's okay. It's okay. It is okay. Just as long, let me put this disclaimer out there, just as long as you're being respectful and he's being respectful. Not only to his relationship and your relationship, but to each other. You got to be respectful. Okay. And if this is a friend who you know actively wants to sleep with you and you have friend zoned him, that's not the type of friend I'm talking about here.
Mm-hmm.
We're not talking about the ones that you might have tried and you friend zoned him. No.
Not might have tried like a candy, a flavor in a candy shop.
Might have tried. Might have tried. I'm talking about the strictly, I don't want anything from you. I respect you as a person. We are friends. It's okay. Okay? It is okay to have a male friend. Now, when that male friend starts crossing boundaries that you don't want to cross, that's when you need to cut them off. That really goes female too. Female friends cross boundaries all the time, and it's okay. But the stigma out there with friends of the opposite sex is automatically you're sleeping with them. We're not talking, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. We're not talking about gay men either, because most of the world don't look at the gay men the same as a straight male when it comes to male and female friendships. They look more at the gay friend like, oh yeah, he's safe. He doesn't even play for the same team. That's not, no. The straight male friend and the straight female friend can be friends and have never looked at a person in that way.
I agree. I think you're right. I do have male friends. So, I mean, I think it's a little unhealthy to make a person feel like they have to avoid, having a friendship with someone that is of the opposite gender. I think it's a little unhealthy to go out of your way to do it. Because, I mean, friendship is exactly what you said. Friendship. So if we're talking about a friend, then that's it. But if we're talking about more than a friend, then obviously, no, it's not okay for you to have people of the opposite gender or any gender that are more than a friend.
Right.
So,
now, the male friends that I have come across, let me just throw this out there for me. The male friends that I have in my life, and I don't have very many male friends. And that's not for any particular reason. It just happened that way. But the male friends that I do have in my life has been able to bring different perspective to me that I would not otherwise have gotten. Again, male coworker, he's a friend of mine. He is more of, I would call him the Gandhi of the group.
Mm.
I would call him Gandhi. And the reason why I would call him Gandhi is because he's always talking about be peaceful, be cool, don't let these people see you sweat. It's okay. You don't have to go off on them. Me in real life, I nuck and buck. But I have that balance in my friends that if I'm nucking and bucking, somebody's got to be Gandhi.
Somebody's got to be Gandhi.
Somebody's got to be Gandhi. Somebody's got to be who else would we claim to be like peaceful and namaste. Whoever that peaceful person is, there needs to be a balance. Okay, that person might be going, I'm your renge oil, and I'm ready to cut.
I'm not gonna play with you.
Somebody got to talk me off the ledge. Cause look, somebody got to talk me off the ledge. So it's okay to have. I'm gonna go back. Let me go back.
I'm ready to cut.
It's okay to have a male friend who has not looked at you in a sexual way. It's okay. You don't have to shy away from the person who wants to talk to you at work if he's a male. Okay. Now, if he starts doing other things, you'll be able to tell that he wants more than just being a friend. But that person who is being respectful of you, who looks out for you, who tells you, hey, you might be doing this wrong, or hey, you might need to check this, that, and the third. Have that person in your life. Keep that type of person in your life. Because you're going to walk around and you'll be like, well, why didn't the man tell me that he was doing X, Y, and Z? A male coworker or a male friend will be able to tell you if the man that's in your life is a dog. Yeah. And they're going to be able to tell you quickly. And they're going to be able to tell you this straight-faced and emotionless.
And
because it's a real thing.
Contrary to popular. Yeah. I was going to say, contrary to popular belief, we do, when we have good men and women do need each other. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a good woman in your life, she's supportive, she's encouraging of you, she brings that extra love and nourishing to you. That's a friend. And then you have people, and she's protective of you. And then when you have good men in your life, they are protective of you. They want to see you do well. They never want to lead you astray. They don't want to see you in situations you don't need to be in. So it is important that we find people that are good people, because you can coexist. We can have those kind of relationships. I agree with you.
Like I said, my male friend, my male coworker, and he calls me by my last name. So Jackson, you can't be telling these people where to go and how to get there all the time. You got to learn a way to say it differently. Jackson, I know that if I call him with some foolishness, and he's going to tell me that it's foolishness, and he's not going to care about whether I want to hear it or not. He's going to tell me. Like we're both northern born, so hey, I already know what's going to happen. I know when I call him and say, hey, this is what's going on, I need you to talk me off the ledge, he's going to do just that. Shout out to you, bestie. Shout out to you.
Okay, here's what we got so far. It's okay to have friends of the opposite gender when there are boundaries. Practice having your own individuality and not allowing other relationships to get in the middle or compete with your friendships. It's okay to have a relationship and still have a friendship and have a great relationship with a friend and not have to feel like you have to warp those into one. It's okay. And don't bring Billy Bob to the ladies' night if it's all ladies. If we didn't invite our boyfriends or our husbands or our significant others or our dates, Billy Bob shouldn't be showing up. Okay? Should nobody be showing up with and nobody with a mustache should be coming past this door. At least not one that's about this thick out, unless it's natural and you just got some hormonal stuff going on. But if you don't, you shouldn't be coming past that ledge. I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And we just need to do better. I don't want that. I didn't ask for this. I'm sorry, y'all went on a tangent. Okay, back. Um, friends, having friends out loud. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Clearly, it kind of there's a soft spot there. I'll acknowledge that there might need to be a little healing in that area for me, but I'm just saying, I just can't do it. Like I can't. It's almost like you're pushing a person away, and maybe you're doing it subconsciously because you're with a person who tries to make you feel like you have to be with them all the time, because that is the case. But just try to be aware of that. And also pay attention because, like me and Conitra talked about in other podcasts, sometimes people are intentionally emotionally abusive and they know what they're doing. And it's not an accident. So the fact that you feel like you can't go out to certain places, you can't smile at people, you can't have a friendship with somebody of the opposite gender, you can't wave without, doing something bad, or you can't go out with your girlfriends. The fact that you're starting to feel that way when you didn't feel that way before, this is something that slowly creeps up on you because the person that you're with is slowly mentally prepping you to feel like that's how life is supposed to be lived. That's not how your life is supposed to be lived. You're supposed to be able to go out. And if they can't trust you, they need to go get some therapy, or they need to go find somebody they can trust. But that doesn't have anything to do with you. And we need to stop letting other people's problems be our problems.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of that, that's what happened to me in the previous relationship.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Not always trying to go places with me. I always wanted to have a phone call from me
Mm-hmm.
just to see where I'm at or who I'm with, and that, yeah. So that kind of deteriorated some of my friendship that I had
Mm-hmm.
because it interacted with that. Well, they just wanted to spend time with me, but the other person with insecurities felt some type of way and like wanted to be in the midst of all that. So yes, I have lost friendships due to that.
Yeah. And that's a really tough. Thank you for sharing that, Kanitra. I think that's a really tough one. And since we're on the topic of friendships, if you have a friend that is going through an abusive relationship, emotionally, physically, verbally, as women, as people, nobody has it all together. We have to stop judging people because they don't have it together in one area of life when we don't have it together in other areas of life. You're judging her because she's going through an abusive relationship, but you're going through a financially abusive relationship. You try to go out and your partner is telling you you can't go out unless you spend this. Or you have a great relationship, but you're dealing with things in other areas of your life that you're not too well at. There's always something in this world that we are not the best in, that we are a little bit ignorant in, or we're unaware. So why are we always trying to judge a woman when she's experiencing something negative in a relationship, like we just have it all put together? So I say that to say, yes, you do have to have boundaries. I'm not saying drag yourself into anything dangerous because, yes, things get dangerous very quickly in abusive relationships. However, practice that understanding of, hey, I love you and I care about you and I see what's going on and I'm not a fan of it. But I'm here to support you and I'm here to help you get through it and hopefully help you get out of it in a way that is not going to have you on the news for the wrong reasons. That's what we need to start practicing doing, creating exit strategies without rupturing, or not rupturing, but interrupting the peace of the aggressor. Because when you start off as that friend that has a problem with the relationship, guess what? Whenever he gets angry and he's upset, whether he's being abusive physically or verbally, it's going to come back to your friend who's going to get that. So there, you're not going to see that publicly. It'll be when she goes home and he says, well, don't talk to me because your friend said, we're out. Don't worry about what she's doing. You're laughing and playing, but you know that that's the type of relationship she has. So we need to start practicing being there for people and letting them know that we're here for them. Even if we don't agree with it, we don't have to condone it. But something as simple as creating a bridge with the aggressor when you know that they are the aggressor and making them feel comfortable and letting them feel off guard so that when you snatch up your friend, okay, by her edges and pull her on out of there, they'll have no clue. By the time they get ready to start, being all aggressive, it's too late. We already got the restraining order. Let's be a little bit more strategic about how we treat our friends when they are going through these kind of situations. You cannot be anyone's parent. I'm not saying you can force somebody to do anything, but starting off with, oh, he always doing this. He's always tripping. Why is your man always doing that? How does that help the situation for her or for him? Now you're the aggressor in his eyes, and he's going to make sure that anytime you're going out with her, there's going to be a problem. So what you need to do is you need to look at him and you need to start being nice. And you need to be all friendly and oh yeah, so nice to talk to you, Conitra. You got a good man. Da 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 da. All that good stuff. Whoever, Conitra, Sally, you got a great man. And when it's time to leave, y'all go together. Make sure your devices are turned off and nobody's bugged you. Change your clothes, get into a room where it's private, and start putting together this legal plan. But let's start practicing being of better support to people and not judging them just because they don't know something or they're dealing with something that they can't see because they're dealing with it in the moment and you're watching it. Because it's a different privilege to be able to step back and see something versus to be dealing with it in action, real time. Those are two different things. I can sit back and watch a baseball game and say, oh, why did you do that? But being in the game and having to pay attention to all the different things on the field, there might be something missed. And it takes life and practice and wisdom to be able to see what you're missing. So we can't shame people for not knowing something. So yes, I mean, I'm not saying you got to stay with the friendship if you feel like it's just not working or it's becoming dangerous for you or whatever the case. Okay, but don't be that person that makes it harder and isn't a part of the solution. That's all I'm saying. So we can't leave our friends like that when they're dealing with that kind of stuff. Maybe you have to distance yourself, but make sure they know that you're there for them. Make sure they know that when they make that decision, you're going to be waiting for them. Make sure they know that if they decide to leave and they don't have anywhere to go, you're going to be there for them and available. Let's be clear about those things. Okay, so moving on to the next thing. Um, let's see. So we talked about that. Be considerate. Don't place your friends in uncomfortable situations. Oh, this one. I want to give it to Lacole to see if she has any other things she wants to share about how we can have better friendships. And then I'm gonna come back because I got one last tip, and it is about placing your friends in uncomfortable situations. So what you got, Lacole?
Oh, this probably gonna rub some people the wrong way,
Oh Lord,
but
hold on tight.
we need to learn how to, and I'm big on my voice. We need to learn how to activate our voices in a friendship because people need to know that if they're doing something wrong, that we have enough oomph in us to tell them that they're doing something wrong and have enough oomph in you to see it through. Because some
Mm-hmm.
people will say, oh, I wouldn't do that. But if you're doing the same thing, then how can you tell me to fix it? So if I come to you and I tell you, look, you rolling the wrong way, we ain't on the same team right now. I'm gonna need you to get a new team. You already know what I mean. So we have to learn in friendships to stop wearing our hearts on our sleeves and take things with a grain of salt. And just because I'm your friend doesn't mean I have your back if you're doing something wrong. Being
Mm-hmm.
your friend is telling you you're wrong for doing that, and I'm gonna need you to fix it because
Mm-hmm.
I'm A1 when it comes to friendship, but you ain't taking me to jail with you unless that person done done you. Nah, if they done you something bad, we ride or die.
I'm
We
sorry.
ride or
Wait, what?
die.
Lacole.
I'm telling you,
Allegedly.
we ride or die.
Lacole.
But but if you doing something wrong and it is with ill will, then no, I don't have your back on it. But
Yeah.
that's just me. And I'm probably rubbing some people the wrong way because they feel like friendship's supposed to be a man. We ain't in church. We in a friendship. We not in the church saying hallelujah, thank you, Jesus. We in the club right now. So the club say, if you're wrong, I'ma check you on it. If we at the church, then I'ma say, hey man, sister girl, but you're still wrong. Okay? In the soft voice, in the church voice. But either way, you need to get your stuff, and I can't say the other word, together and
Yeah, it
stop being
sounded
out
like you
there
was. I was like, wait. Whoa.
rolling in there. You rolling in the deep and you don't know how to swim. And you want me to pull you out the water and now we both rolling bad. Nah, I can't swim. I ain't coming in the water with you. I'm sorry. You just out there by yourself. I will throw you a life jacket and tell them where to come find you. Cause not. Mm, I'm just saying.
You're not wrong
But
though. Like, you're not. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
that's what I got. That's a touch. Mm, touch. That's touch. I was trying not to utilize it. I was hoping you just would have, but that's a touchy little subject right there for me because I ain't going to jail for nobody.
Yeah,
Mm,
I don't blame
not
you.
no
I
more.
mean,
No, not.
we got to have loyalty to our friends, but we
Now,
got to have
maybe
loyalty
back
to
in the day
ourselves. You said
when
what?
I was Vicky, yeah, probably. Yeah, back in
Oh,
the day when I was Vicky, like really, really Vicky, maybe. But now, uh-uh. I ain't been to jail. I ain't trying to go. No, And like I told you, I can't swim. We ain't going across the water. I'm not going across that water with you. You just gonna be out there. The alligators gonna eat you up. And I'm gonna tell them the last time I saw her, she was right there. Why you ain't go? She was in the water, and she was being smart, and she knew she was wrong. She knew she couldn't swim. She took her tail out there, and I'm done. I ain't. I won't. Yeah.
I really don't. I mean, you say it's controversial, but I really don't see an issue with that. I don't know why. Why do we think that a person is supposed to break themselves down or hurt themselves just for the sake of being loyal to us? Just like you got to be loyal to yourself, they have to be loyal to themselves too. So the throwing the life jacket is
They have a lot
already being
of
friend. You said what?
they have a lot of them out, they have a lot of them out there feel like if you not ride or die with everything that they do,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not their friend.
Yep.
I don't have to be ride or die with you with everything that you do. If you're
Yep.
wrong, you're wrong.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna check you on your wrong. And I
Listen,
wouldn't be a friend if I didn't.
y'all
Now, if
talking
I
about
went
ride or
out
die.
there and
I
did the
ask
same
questions.
wrong
Where we
that you
going?
did,
Okay. Can we ride and thrive? Do
like,
we have to
Can we
die?
ride and get some food? I get hungry.
can we go in separate cars? Because
Right.
if you got that
Okay.
food for a friend that you know
Look,
might get
y'all.
you in, I'm gonna meet you at the
Look,
spot.
I
I'm
ain't
gonna
gonna
meet you
hold you.
there.
I hate the term
Because
ride or
I'm
die.
gonna need my own automobile to get back home.
Look,
Mm-hmm.
right. I hate the term ride or die because I got questions. Where we going? Is it safe? Do I have to? Do I have to ride with you? Can I use my
Do I
own car?
have to ride with you?
Do I, do I have to ride?
Do I have to ride with you?
Yeah,
But
yes,
if you're dead
MJ, you
wrong, I'm
have
not
to
riding
ride.
with you anyway. And if you riding dirty, I'm not
Mm,
riding with you either. No, thank you.
Oh, that part,
I have had
that part.
friendships where a person, I didn't agree with what a person was doing, and you could sense that there was like a shift in the energy when that was the case. And it's like, just like what I
Mm.
said earlier, Lacole, you don't have to do the same thing as everybody else. If a person has a different opinion or a different way of living, you don't have to force your way of living onto them. And this kind of goes into the tip that I was going to share. Like, we all have our own beliefs, our own way of doing stuff. You don't have to be just like me. And if I don't agree with it and I don't think it's right, I don't have to force myself to go along with it. And that shouldn't qualify me as not being your friend simply because I'm not going along with something that I don't agree with. But for some reason, people, they take that to heart and they get upset and they take it as rejection when in reality, it's me trying to redirect because I don't feel like this is the right place for me. And maybe I don't feel like it's right for you either. But I have had situations like that. That was what I was going to say was don't place your friends in uncomfortable situations and in uncomfortable places with people. And I'll give an example. I had a friend. Now, this friend had a family member, and I knew that my friend's family operated a certain kind of way. Um, there was something that this friend wanted to go and do with other family members, and I knew instantly that if they went to go do this with other family members, people's mamas was going to be coming and looking for their children and wondering why this is taking place. Why would you even invite me to something where that will be taking place? So that when your parents show up to this building looking to see who is around these children and who is allowing these kind of things to take place, that shouldn't be taking place with any minors in the building. They're going to be looking at me, my face, your quote unquote friend. So they can have an issue with me and I can be that friend that causes problems. Why would you even invite me to a space like that? Why would you even think with your, I can't even say with your brain, with whatever rocks that were sitting up there when you asked me that question? Why would you even think that that was okay? Don't put people in uncomfortable situations, because you know goodness well that if somebody's parent comes down here and you do something and you get caught doing something and your friend is there, they're going to be the face of negativity for that parent. You know what I mean? People are protective of their children. I don't want to be in no room doing grown folk stuff when children are present. That's just me. I don't care what your preference is. That's how I roll. So don't try to bring me to be a part of that when you know that's how I roll. If you know I don't like to curse around children, don't try to bring me around conversations where we are cursing and there are children present. You do what you want to do with your life, but don't try to push me into doing it as well. So when I'm telling you I don't want to do this, and then you're going to still try to bring somebody, I canceled the event. I said, well, I just won't see you. We can do something together, me and you, once, all of that settles, but y'all have a good time. They felt some type of way about that. I do not care. Why would you even think to put your friend in a position like that so that your family can be hating me for something that you chose to do that didn't have nothing to do with me, simply because I was there? You know what I mean? That's how that would go. So think about the position that you're putting your friends in and don't place them in uncomfortable positions. I even had a time when someone tried to get me to physically take a device from somebody. It was an unhealthy relationship. It was abusive. Um, but even then, why would you ask me to try to, what do I look like, a bouncer to you? We might have a little bit of shoulders back here. Yes, I definitely have some shoulders. We got some linebacker shoulders in the family. That's just how it is, okay? I even have family members that play football, women. So yeah, we do, but I'm not a bouncer, and I'm not about to be pulling and prying phones out of people's hands. So now that I've checked you and I've told you what's wrong with you, and I'm asking the person, are they okay? Now you're trying to tell me to mind my business. No, how about you don't put me in situations where now I have to mind everybody's business? How about we just don't do that? The hell I look like? Grab a phone. What? Get therapy. I don't have time to play with you. So let's not do that. Let's not. On to the next. Just why do we think about that? The next thing is, I just have one last one, and then if y'all have anything else that pops up, let me know. But mine is to just respect and listen to what your friends say and let that be what it is, and don't try to push how you feel or what you want to do onto them. If I tell you I don't like something, don't try to push it. If I tell you I don't do certain things or I don't go certain places, don't try to surprise me. If you know that's my boundary. Now, if it's something that I said I was open to trying, that's different. But if you know it's my boundary, don't try to push something on me. Because what that is some kind of toxicity within yourself where you're unable to respect people's boundaries, and just let that be what it is. And don't have me on speakerphone. Don't. That's my last one. Don't. Let's just respect our friends' boundaries, because when you respect people's boundaries, you will increase the chance that they will have trust. Like Lacole said earlier, we want to build trust. We don't want to break trust. And the way that you break trust is not respecting people's boundaries, not communicating effectively, comparing yourself to them constantly, having passive aggressive statements. These are ways to make people look at you and wonder, are you really my friend? So if we're trying to strengthen our friendships, practice clarity with your friends. Tell them you love them and you care about them, but let them know that you do have certain things you're not comfortable doing, but you're still there to support them. And just appreciate your friends more, like love on them, especially the ones that are supportive and kind. If you want to see a stronger relationship, put more effort into that relationship like you would in anything else that's important to your life. Do you ladies have any last things you want to add on?
All of those were great. And I was listening to you as you said, don't be inviting that. I think that's why the popular question of who all gonna be there is there. Um, but I do just want to say, you know, love on your friends, call out your friends, um, but be a friend at the same time. Don't require so much from your friends that you're unwilling to give back to them.
Mm-hmm.
You got to be a friend to get a friend. You have to. You cannot. This cannot be a one-sided friendship. It's not a. It's not a friendship. It's a transaction.
Yeah.
That's all I have. That's all I have.
What about you, Lacole, Conitra? You have any last things you want to add?
Nah, I'm good over here.
What about you, Conitra?
No, I just agree with everything that hit right on the nail. What I basically went through as through with friendships and friends over the years. So everything, everyone hit on everything that I'm like, oh, I went through that. Oh, I went through that too. So yeah, on point.
Okay. Well, thank you all. I hope that everyone who's watching this, we had some laughs, we had some rants, a little bit of everything in this call today. But the overall message that I want people to take from this is simply considering another person the way that you would want someone to consider you. I'm not saying that you have to do the exact same things as them, but put yourself in their position. Like put yourself in their shoes. It doesn't mean that, if she just broke up with her boyfriend and if you were to break up with your boyfriend, you wouldn't cry about it, you wouldn't be upset. Okay, well, she is upset. So put yourself in the shoes of being upset about something and ask yourself how you would want a friend to treat you when you are upset about something. Just be considerate, because when you do that, you show people that you care. And final note, ask your friends questions. You can never ask too many questions. What are your goals? What are ways I can support you? Even if it's not financially, how can I be a light in your life? What are you going through right now that you need a little encouragement with? The more you ask questions, the more you really find out about people, things you probably would have just never known. So even if something as simple as how are you doing, like how are you holding up, or how are you taking care of yourself, be the friend to ask somebody how they're doing and check on them at least once every other call or something. But don't always be the one calling to talk about yourself or to be asking for something. Like practice practice loving with love. So that's it. Now that we've done that, we do have I have a motivational room that starts at 8:35 because we had to push it back a little bit because the podcast went a little over in our ranting and raving and wisdom. Um, but did you ladies want to give any update on something new that's happening with your businesses, or a product or service that you want to recommend to everybody and officially introduce your business?
I can go. Um, I am Lacole Smith, of course, with AL Publishing and Consulting. And what I have new that's coming up next month, I will be doing business awareness theme photo shoots with business owners in our area. So that is something that I'm excited about. That is something that not only will it be something that connect networking, but it's gonna put brick and mortars out there to be seen. It's gonna put the business owners to be seen, and it's gonna bring awareness to a cause. So definitely looking forward to that. The cause for April is gonna be autism. So we're gonna dress in autism outfits and we're gonna have a photo shoot. And
Hmm.
I'm very excited about having that going on. Also next month is my Walking in Faith Women's Workshop, which I have every year. It's gonna be it's on April the 25th. So I encourage my women to come out and enjoy this. It's gonna be high strong. It's gonna be really, really nice. It's the fifth annual one that I've had. So this is kind of a milestone. We're going above and beyond. I'm excited about that. Um, that's pretty much all I gotta say to other people gotta talk. So y'all come out to the
Congratulations.
event.
Congratulations. And that event sounds like a lot of fun. So, any of the business owners that I
Thank
know
you.
that are in Louisiana, I'm going to make sure to share and wanting to travel. Um, and then let's see, there was something else you said. Oh, congrats on the fifth annual Walking in Faith. Like, that's amazing. Um, what was your inspiration behind creating that event?
I just wanted a safe space for women to be able to come and get poured into because as women we pour, we pour, we pour, we pour. And a lot of times we get nothing back that's gonna help us, that's gonna heal us, that's gonna encourage us, that's gonna motivate us. So this event is directed to pour into you for whatever reasons that you have going on. The speakers pour into you. The ones that do the outgoing sessions that basically is like a break off session, they pour into you. They give you advice. They uplift you. So when you leave, you have a wealth of knowledge. You have a space that you was able to say what you wanted to say, and nobody was gonna judge you. So that was my reason behind it, and it has been going well and growing each year. So I'm very excited to continue blessing women, encouraging women, and lifting up people that just need it because it's really needed now.
Yeah. I was talking about that with one of the business owners, Lacole, because I was using you as one of the examples of people that you have your own faith and beliefs, but the resources that you provide are to people who have those beliefs as well as people who just need that encouragement and uplifting. And I feel like that's extremely important because sometimes we get so stuck on what we believe and how we live that we forget you could still make an impact and save someone's life without having them believe the same thing as you. And so I was telling that to someone because we were talking about the importance of, yes, walking in your purpose, walking in your beliefs, walking in your spirituality, but don't be one of the people that you say, well, this door is only for these types of people, because you never know. There could be someone out there who is waiting for somebody to talk them off a ledge, and you are that person. And because they're not presenting themselves a certain kind of way, you're making them feel as if they cannot come to this space and receive that love and receive that pouring into, when in reality that's what a lot of religions and spirituality is about. It's about showing people love. So I wanted to give you your flowers for that because I do think that's a beautiful thing. But congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Mhm. What about you, MJ, Conitra? Do you ladies have any updates you want to share? Or a product that you want to share? Either or is fine.
I'll go ahead and go. Yes, actually.
Mhm.
We have quite a bit going on in the businesses of MJ, because
Uh,
as mentioned very earlier in the video, I got a few of them. Um, so I'm
mm,
going to start. I'm going to keep it brief, but I'm going to start with Travel with MJ. We have an event. It's a virtual event that will be on March 22nd. That is a Sunday at 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and we're talking travel agent myths. This one's a good one. A lot of the clients that I have worked with has either never worked with a travel advisor or has worked with a travel advisor and got scammed. Let's just call it spade a spade. And I want to be able to have a discussion with real people about this topic, because there are some things that um, there's some information that's being misconstrued, and then there's some information that is true, and I want you to know the difference. I have a myth that I'm ready to bust for everybody, and
oh,
when I bust this myth, you're gonna be like, "Wait a minute, whoa, that's not what I was expecting." So that's travel agent myths over in Travel with MJ. Over in the Queen's Digital Studio, um, we are coming very, very soon to having our own social media engagement vote. I talked about this briefly in another live. We are. I'm excited.
I'm excited
I'm.
for you. Congratulations.
Thank you. It is. It's an undertaking, but it's one that I want to definitely make sure that I am available for. So the engagement vault, in summary, is going to be a collection of multiple different types of social media engagement. So you have the thought provoking questions, the one that actually makes you think, the this or that questions, the polls type of questions. There's so many different types of engagement that we need to do. Because as I said in a previous live, when it comes to social media, if you are invisible, you're broke. If you are invisible, you are broke.
She did say that.
With Facebook and how everything happens so fast and so quickly, we are wanting to help people with their visibility. We're not trying to make you go viral. At least that's not our intention. Now, if you happen to go viral, that's one thing. But I'm not setting out for viral. I'm not setting out for clickbait. I'm not setting out for rage bait. I'm setting out for visibility. I want you to continue to be visible in the chaos of everything that's going on your Facebook, on your Instagram. There's a lot going on. So the inner workings of the vault will be coming soon. I think there's a couple more things that I have to do. But also, if you're not interested in the vault and maybe you just want to post some of the posts for yourself, you can check us out at queensdigitalstudio.net, where you'll be able to purchase those packs, and they will be smaller than what will be offered in the vault. So I would highly recommend that if you're looking for it, you come on ahead and become a subscriber of the vault.
Okay. Well, first off, congratulations on the vault.
Thank you.
Yes, I love the fact that you're creating a content creation vault so that people can have that to quickly post on social media, because it is important. Visibility, consistency, putting yourself out there. By the way, shout out to Conitra also for I saw the Fashion Friday post too. Just thought about that. But visibility is important. And so you're creating a solution for entrepreneurs who might struggle with the process of, what do I write about? What do I post about? So congrats on that. And
Thank
congratulations
you.
on your fourth business. Because I don't know if I said that already, but if I haven't, congrats.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah. How's it feel?
It's a lot. It's a lot. Um it's a lot.
It's a lot. It's a
It is a
lot.
lot.
I see.
Shout
I
out to
see.
those who have multiple businesses and have to run multiple different social media platforms. Um it's a huge undertaking, but I'm excited. I feel like the businesses that I have, just me, intertwined with one another. They can be used all throughout. I know the Queen's Digital Studio can be used throughout the other three businesses.
Mhm.
So it had to be something that makes sense. And it makes sense for me, but it is a lot. I'm not gonna lie, it's a lot.
Well, we look forward to seeing what you come up with in the future, and I will be promoting and sharing with other entrepreneurs that need your solutions.
Thank you.
Um,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Kanitra, what about you? What product or service would you like to share?
I am sharing. Well, one is still on the in the making, but the first one is the BoujeezSteps has this subscription program that I am pushing. That is a wonderful program that you get 12 pairs of shoes each month. You only pay $50 up front, and each month when you pick out that first shoe, you pick out your style and design and the color, and each month it'll be shipped to you for free. So, in actuality, you're paying $25 for each shoe.
Mm.
So $50 up front, and then you have 60 days to pay the remaining, which is the total is $300. So every month you're getting a new pair of shoes to wear whatever you want. You can even do like 4th of July red, anything that's going, like I can order for you, custom order. So I am excited about that. And then the second thing is Lacole's not on, but um, on the author side, I have something in the making. So I am excited about that, and I'm ready to get that going. And I'll just give out a hint. The name is Who Broke You? So that is going to be the next book that's coming out, and I am so excited about that.
Congrats.
Thank you.
Yes, so many amazing things happening right now. Um, I love the fact that she does provide that flexibility. So if you want to subscribe to her shoe subscription program, you can pay $50 up front, like she said, pay the remaining $250 within 60 days. So you have that option, which gives you 2 months to have that time frame to pay that off. Or you can go ahead on her website and pay upfront, one time, a whole upfront fee. So there's options depending on what you're looking for. I think at the moment, I don't know how long it will be, but I think upfront has a little bit of a discount. But I don't know how long it will be. I just know that you can do upfront, or you can do what she just said, which is pay $50 upfront and then the remaining, I think, $250, like you said, within 60 days. But that's a great deal for people who are like on the go, have different events to attend, trying to elevate their style, need comfortable or cute shoes, need heels. Those shoes, I actually wore those. I don't have them, but those polka dot heels, I wore those out to my friend's birthday yesterday. When I right after the show that I did with MJ, right before I was, praying that I wasn't gonna get eaten alive by her pet. But
By Fido?
yeah,
By
by
Fido.
I forgot what we call him, Fufu.
Fufu and
Yeah,
Fido. Hmm.
Fufu was about to choo choo on me. So yeah, and then she talking about something. I told you he was kind of. No, you didn't. You didn't say that. You said little cute puppy whining. That was not no. So, anyways, I think it's great. But anyways, on other topics, I think it's wonderful that you have that flexibility. And so I did wear those shoes, and they were so cute. And the styles that you put on your website are always on point. And you do a really great job paying attention to like different shoe trends that might be popular or that are common right now. And the ones that I wore, those polka dot ones, everyone, like I looked down at our feet, we were all wearing the same style but different. Like mine was polka dot, one of them was all black, but it was that same like lower heel, and I was able to wear those heels and walk all the way through downtown Dallas. So yeah, I wore those
Yeah,
heels, I wore
that's
those
the good
things.
thing. Yeah, they're comfortable. That's
Very
what you
comfortable.
want.
Yep,
Comfortable shoe.
you need it. And then there was a cushion on them. I do like the cushion on those too. So shout out to you. Congratulations on your
Yeah.
upcoming, yes, on your upcoming accomplishments and your current accomplishments. And that's pretty much it. I think this evening I don't have anything else that's new except for the fact that we did update our events page. So if you go to bossbayblog.com and you click on events, you'll see that we do have new events. We've changed some. We don't have the virtual Boss Bay Blog Brunch anymore. We have the Small Business Expo now. So if you want to join on, you can come and join on. We also have the Small Business Expo, Small Business Wind Down, which will be happening tomorrow, and a couple of other events. So that's the newest update with Boss Bay Blog. There's a restructuring of the website that's taking place, and you will see that with different industries. But that's all we got. So thank you everyone for staying on and talking about this topic. I hope that someone out there who's struggling with keeping good friendships can listen to this from a different perspective and maybe use it to strengthen, their relationship with their friends. But I will talk to everyone soon. Thanks for watching the Boss Babe Blog podcast. Bye-bye.